Alright, so in our previous video we created a repository for our project. We created a new project called PR Demo, and not only did we initialize a GitHub repo, we also pushed a new project to the online repository. And the goal for this video is to show the process of creating a pull request. And what a pull request is it's a neat way for your colleagues to review any changes that you made while working in your own local branch. So again, the main branch contains the main production code that may be shipped to a customer or to users. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that any changes that you make, you get them reviewed before committing and pushing them to the main branch. And this is best practice in a working environment, working with other developers. And I'd even encourage you to use this practice if you're working on a solo contract or a solo project. It's just useful to essentially sanity check yourself before you make any changes such that you don't cause any issues moving forward. Because once again, your main branch is what's going to be delivered to your stakeholders, who are your customers, your users, your investors, all the above. And you just want to make sure you provide them with the best experience. And not only that, but for your future self, you want to look out for them too. You may be working on a bit of code late at night and you recognize that you probably should have gotten more sleep that night and you push something that you didn't mean to push. And this this setup of having a pull request provides you with a safety net of making sure that what you created locally gets reviewed before it's pushed to the main branch and shared with others. All right, so let's jump right in. Let's go ahead and create a new branch. So we're going to do that in terminal. So let's just verify where we're at. We're on the main branch and we want to create a new branch. Let's call it PR demo. Or let's call it PR branch. And once again, just because we created it doesn't mean that we've moved to it. So this is verifying that we're still in the main branch. Let's go to this main branch, or this new branch called PR branch, and we're going to use the command git checkout PR branch. Switch to branch PR branch. Awesome. So now let's verify that we are in the PR branch. Yep. And let's go back to our project and make some changes. So I just want to make a small change to illustrate the workflow of a PR. And all we're going to do is change the color of the view to red. And we do that by using the background color property on the view within the UI view controller. And yeah, I could, write some tests. I could run it through the simulator, but for the purposes of this demo, we just want to show that you can create a PR by making changes on your local branch. And yeah, let's go ahead and commit this change. So I'm going to go in terminal and I'm going to do a similar workflow as before. We're going to say git add everything, git commit updated color of view controller. Cool. Shows that it worked. Let's clear this up. And it's complaining about how we're pushing, so let's just follow git. And there we go. We successfully pushed our changes to the remote repository, and it even suggests to us that we create a pull request on GitHub. So let's go ahead and do just that. Let's go back to Chrome. And would you look at that? It's already telling us that it's noticed that a new branch had been pushed and that we are encouraged to create a pull request. So from the top, this this area is just telling us what's going on, and it's saying that you have a main branch in this project, and the current branch, which is the PR branch that we just pushed, is being compared against that main branch, because that's how we'll be able to show the difference in the code and show what changes were made. And here you can provide your reviewer an idea of like what was changed, and we could say UI update, and we can get more specific on what was changed in the written portion of this pull request. So we can say the background color of the main view controller was changed to red. Now, in a real working condition with multiple team members, it's actually suggested that you have a more structured way of creating a pull request. The company that I currently work at, we actually use a template, and that gives not just the developer an easy way of filling out information, but it also gives the reviewer a streamlined way of knowing what to look for in these changes. One other thing to note here in GitHub is that this area is compatible with the Markdown language. So basically all that means is that you can insert links, you can insert different different attributes to the fonts. You can do like bold text, like I said, links, you can do bullets. Anything that you can do in the Markdown language, you can put it in here, which makes it really neat to share with your reviewer. So you can imagine that maybe like a class diagram could be useful. Screenshots, videos, GIFs of showing the workflow of tapping through the screens. Anything that you can think of, most of it can be shared in a pull request. And off to the right, we see a couple of areas where you can tag reviewers. Right now, I'm working on my personal account, and I can tag the account for this repo, Sewell Academy, and assign Sewell Academy the project to review, or this PR to review. And I can also tag this PR with labels such as enhancement, bug, help wanted. I'm going to go ahead and select enhancement. And if I wanted to, I could create tags for the different projects that we're working on. And this could be useful if you're in a bigger team. And yeah, just more things that we could add and tag people on. And that's basically it, you know. We can go ahead and create the pull request. As you can see down here, you're able to see your own changes, but let's go ahead and create it and go on from there. So the PR has been created. You now have an open PR in your project, and what's neat here is that you're able to quickly see what was changed, and you can view these changes and mark them as viewed. What's really neat is that Xcode or GitHub shows you which lines were changed specifically, so you can make comments on the changes themselves. One thing that I always suggest to my students and mentees is that they review their own code before they request a review. And this just, like, once again, sanity checks your code. It also provides you a way to build up the muscle of looking for mistakes in your work, because it happens. Here you are. You can see the number of commits that were made in the time that this branch was made. At this time was made since the branch was created. So all I'm trying to say here is that I made one commit in this branch, in this new PR branch, from the time I created the branch off of the main branch. And if that's confusing, I can provide some more information on that later. But all it's saying is that I made one commit and 2 files were changed in that commit. I have my comments here so a reviewer can go through and quickly see this. And what's neat here too, if I go back to files changed, it tells me directly that I can't approve my own pull request. The reviewer needs to approve it before this can be merged, and you can set those rules up in GitHub when you create the repository, or maybe someone from your team like the manager or the tech lead could set that up. But I could easily merge it if I wanted to, but I would like for my PR to get some feedback and approved before I merge it. So yeah, just to recap, we went through the workflow of making changes to our project on a new branch. We created that new branch in terminal, and we committed and pushed our changes to that new branch in terminal. We then came over to GitHub and created the PR. GitHub was really useful in kind of directing us on what to do. We were able to tag our assignee, and we're able to tag it with labels as to what was changed. And yeah, we ideally wouldn't merge this pull request until someone approved it. And yeah, that is how the pull request workflow works in practice. So yeah, I hope you got some value from this. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. If you found this helpful, also drop a comment and say, yeah, this was helpful. Thanks again. Have a good one.